Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. We recently received some information about the upcoming version 2.4 of honkaistarrail. It looks like Huohuo and Blackswan will be making a reappearance as RERUN characters. As we know, these two characters have their own advantages and uniqueness. Many people say that these two characters are good enough to be used in various kinds of content in honkaistarrail. The big question is whether these two characters are still worth getting in the future and if they can still be used in the current condition. So without further ado, let's jump into it.
Do you have a character or weapon in the game that you really want but you don't have enough stellar jades? Here is a smarter way to recharge your favorite games like Genshin Impact and honkaistarrail. Look no further than Loot Bar. Loot Bar is the most reliable top-up platform, saving 20% for all orders compared with the official channel, and an extra 5% off for your first purchase. It's 100% safe as you will only be using your UID. We will buy a pack for 3000 stellar jades for $42, which otherwise would have cost $50, totally saving $7.5. We received the crystals which purchased in less than 3 minutes. All recharge will be done through the official channel with miHoYo, which allows you to enjoy all top-up offers. Ready to level up your gaming experience? Check the link in the description to get the amazing discount.
Before we get into a deeper discussion of the two characters, I'd like to share the banner order that is predicted to appear in the upcoming version 2.4. According to some sources, in version 2.4, Yunli will be paired with Huohuo while Jiaoqiu will be paired with Blackswan. These four characters are predicted to be present starting July 30. So have you prepared your Stellar Jade? Okay, before I answer whether or not she's worth getting, I'll do a short review of this character first. Huohuo is an amazingly unique character. She has a combination of abilities like characters with path, abundance, and harmony. Because of her ultimate ability, she can recover 20 max energy for all allies and can increase their attack by 40% for 2 turns. Her healing ability is absolutely amazing. She has skills that can recover HP from targets and surroundings, and she also has a passive skill that will do auto healing when our party members issue ultimates or when they get their turn. Huohuo's debuff removal ability is also incredible. When party members get healed through their talents, Huohuo can immediately clear the existing debuff with a maximum total of 6 times. This ability is an absolute game changer. It's especially useful when we're up against enemies who issue a lot of debuffs. From the short review, it's clear that Huohuo is a fantastic unit to have in your arsenal. She can be paired with various types of team combination of honkaistarrail. Ultimate is a real game changer. When combined with a hyper carry type team or a team that prioritizes damage over time, her attack buffs is a game-winning move. As we all know, damage from damage over time comes from attack. So indirectly, Huohuo will help provide a greater damage output to these types of teams. On top of that, Huohuo will be very useful if we are required to face enemies who have a lot of debuffs, such as damage over times or defense decrease. Since version 2.0, the enemies that have sprung up now have many types of debuffs. And by using Huohuo as a sustain in our team, we can say goodbye to these debuffs. If you refer to data provided by pridewin.gg for several types of endgame content, we can clearly see that Huohuo is still ranked as the top content to use. For example, in the endgame mode content Memory of Chaos, Huohuo is still used by more than 25% of players in honkaistarrail. While in Pure Vision Mode 4, Huohuo users even touched 33%, which means that it seems that players in this game use Huohuo as trustworthy sustain. Whereas in Apocalyptic Shadow mode, the users of Huohuo are only about 16% of the total players in this game. This is understandable because Apocalyptic Shadow mode is currently focusing on teams that rely on break and ultimate. Now for the big question, which one is more worthy between Yunli and Huohuo? As we all know, these two characters have different roles. Yunli has a role that a bit similar to Clara, which is DPS role with the potential to become a hyper carry, and she is an amazing character. Huohuo has mixed role between sustain and support, and she is a great addition to the team. Both have their uses, and it's up to you to decide which one is the best. I'm really excited to see what the future holds for Yunli. It's hard to say whether she'll be a future-proof unit or one that only comes out for a moment and then fades afterwards. We can take Blade for example. Many people no longer use Blade because they think it can no longer keep up with the current meta. But this is different from Huohuo, who has been tested after a long time and is still considered relevant to the current content. Even though the use of Huohuo is getting narrowed down with some new sustain coming in and specialized for certain teams. Venturin for the example. Venturin is very suitable to be paired with follow-up attack teams. The existence of Huohuo is very reliable. Next, we will talk about Blackswan. As we know, Blackswan is a unit with great kit and super strong, but some people say that this character is a bit complex. Why? Let's break it down. Blackswan has a stackable damage over time effect that can spread to adjacent targets and deal a certain amount of damage outside of her turn. Blackswan can also reduce enemy defense through her skills and increase the damage received by enemies through her ultimate. The whole kit that Blackswan owns is related to a debuff called Arcana. Arcana is a debuff that deals damage over time. Enemies hit by Arcana will receive damage over time at the beginning of their turn, up to 240% attack. Arcana can also be stacked up to 50 times, which according to calculation will reach 840% attack, which is equivalent to Argenti's ultimate. However, it's unlikely we will reach 50 stacks outside of the simulated universe or in similar endgame. Arcana gets stacks from various ways, including from skills and basic attacks owned by Blackswan. If you have activated the talent, there's a 65% chance that Arcana will increase every time the enemy gets damage over time at the start of their turn. This includes all forms of damage over time, including Arcana itself. Overall, Blackswan is a very strong character with its own specialty, creating damage over time that will make enemies lose quickly. If you read my short review of Blackswan, you will know that it's designed for teams that rely on damage over time as their main source of damage. Unlike many units that can be used universally, Blackswan may need its own team to work well. It's clear that she will be a good fit when paired with other characters who have similar kits, like Kafka and Sampo for example. The combination of Kafka and Blackswan is a great one. It's been proven in several times of endgame content, especially if the enemy has weakness against wind and lightning elements. Some sources on the internet also say that Blackswan has a pretty good combination, although not the best with Acheron. As we know, Acheron needs to be able to create debuffs as quickly as possible so she can issue her ultimate as soon as possible. Blackswan also can help with that. In essence, Blackswan is a unit that isn't very flexible, but it's very useful in some endgame content, especially if the endgame content has buffs for teams that use DoD as the main source of damage. Just like before, if we refer to the data provided by Pride.GG, the usage of the character named Blackswan has a very high usage rate. In Memory of Chaos mode, Blackswan occupies a percentage of more than 35%. Which means that more than a third of players in honkaistarrail use this character when completing MOC mode. Furthermore, if we revert to Pure Fiction mode, Blackswan is used by more than 70% of players in honkaistarrail. This shows that currently Pure Fiction is still dominated by Blackswan as one of the important characters to complete Pure Fiction. Okay then, let's move on to the next topic. Since the RERUN banner of Blackswan coincides with the appearance of new character named Jiaoqiu, we will talk a little about which one is more valuable. As I discussed in the previous video, Jiaoqiu is one of the characters that is predicted to be the best partner of Acheron, one of the best DPS in this game. He is great at generating debuff, which means Acheron can cast her ultimate almost every cycle. He can also deal damage to the enemy from the debuffs he gives, which makes him a great support and capable sub DPS. Blackswan is just as good as Jiaoqiu Jiaoqiu. Blackswan can also produce fast debuffs like Jiaoqiu, but the type of debuffs produced is slightly different. Jiaoqiu can deal greater damage if our ally issues an ultimate, while Blackswan deals damage over time damage. Basically, because these two characters have a very similar path, namely the path of nihility, they have similarities in terms of hit types and rules. So which one is more worth it? The answer to this question is probably the same as the one you'd get if you were asked which one you think is more important, partner for Acheron or partner for Kafka. If you think that Pela is already doing a great job as debuff producing support for Acheron, then Blackswan is the answer. On the other hand, if you want your Acheron to be even more dominant, then don't hesitate to choose Jiaoqiu. Alright, this is for this video. At the end, I will give each character that's expected to be in the next version 2.4 a score. This score is based on how useful the character is in the current meta, not on how good the kit is, the design, or other factors. Let's start with Yunli. She's a pretty good unit, flexible, solid, and can be a hyper carry in your team. Many people say that Yunli is the latest version of Clara, because all the kits she has are very similar to the kits owned by Clara. If you check out some of preview footage online, you can see a little bit of Yunli can do in battle. She does a lot of damage, her kit is solid, and she's definitely a good character. But I feel like there's nothing that makes her special compared to other units, especially if you already have Clara and have built her well. I'd give her a 7 out of 10. Next we will talk about Huohuo. As I mentioned earlier, Huohuo is one of the best sustain units right now. She can heal and buff all party members. Plus, she has an advantage over other units. She can remove debuffs that are very hard to remove. She can also provide energy to the entire party, which help us issue the ultimate faster. I still think Huohuo is worth taking, especially if you use a team that relies on attack status at the main damage output, such as damage over time teams and hyper carry teams. Then Huohuo is a must-have. I gave Huohuo a score 7.5 out of 10. Next up is Jiaoqiu. I've actually done some reviews on this unit in previous videos. Jiaoqiu is quite unique. It's not like other Nihility units which focus on producing debuffs. Unlike other Nihility units, Jiaoqiu's kit focuses on ultimate damage output. In this case, that means the ultimate issued by Acheron. Jiaoqiu can also produce debuffs at an incredible speed. He can even provide debuffs during the enemy's turn, which makes Acheron ultimate activate very quickly. I personally recommend getting Jiaoqiu, but if you already happy with Pela's performance, then Jiaoqiu is a necessity. I give Jiaoqiu a score of 7 out of 10. The last one is the Blackswan. Currently, Blackswan is one of the units with the best damage over time ability. No one has able to surpass Blackswan in this regard because the debuffs it can produce are insane. The most important thing is that damage over time she produces can reach 50 stacks, which will produces a huge damage. She can also reduce enemy defense through her kit, which is why some people pair Blackswan with Acheron, even though she isn't the best partner. If you already have Kafka, it's a clear unit Blackswan to complete your damage over time team, so your damage over time team can be more perfect. Blackswan is also still very much needed to complete current endgame content such as Emosi, Pure Fiction, or even Apocalyptic Shadow in the next season. So it's clear that Blackswan is a character that we can't just ignore. I'd give this character a score of 8 out of 10. Okay guys, that's everything I can share to you about Huohuo and Blackswan. And what do you think? Do we wanna pull them later? Please leave your comment in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to check out my another video. Thank you for watching, stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video.